Well, as soon as I arrived, they closed the doors. We're in a human spine. Close the windows. All of them. Completely closed up within 5 minutes of me, within 10 minutes of me arriving. What a shame. It took less time than it did last time. And that was over a year and a half ago. They are closing their blinds yet again. The owner of the coffee shop turns out to probably be a Scientologist and is asking to move across the street because it was harming the cult. So currently, they are closing their blinds yet again because I am on the other side of the street now. There they go, closing the blinds, hiding the truth from the public, hiding the truth from the Scientologists inside who want to basically find freedom.
Pathways shouldn't be, to get it should be easier to get people. Well, we've been taking it apart. I don't think it's as tight as it is. And I think what they do is they get an R1. People down with it. Whether they're moving here or whether it's down R1 religious workers. And it's pretty cheap. I got mine here. It's tough. It's tough. What they do is
I was reading an article last week about Stanley Kubrick's daughter. The director?
Yeah, Stanley.
It's completely sucked in now. And
the director of, I'm sorry,
yeah, Stanley Kubrick. He was the director of Eyes Wide Shut. His daughter was helping him with the film.
Okay.
And she got completely sucked in to it. And the last time her mother saw her was for her younger sister's funeral. And she came, that's the last time, the only time she's seen her, and she came with a minder, so she wasn't able to say anything. It's a crazy thing. Yeah.
Does it have like a bullet seat?
Right?
Does it have a bullet seat that one?
Yeah.
Go to farm with them, they will essentially. Right. Isn't it that they just don't call it disconnection anymore?
No, it's still called disconnection. And then if you look, there's another page here. This actually belonged to my dad back in the 80s.
Yeah? Wow.
And as you can see, he highlighted, he was reading this with a lot of attention. And he read it and he read it.
Yeah.
Now, when you read this, when he read this 20 years ago, I don't think he was thinking that in 20 years he'd have to disconnect from his own son.
Yeah.
He was thinking of bad people, the people in your life that you don't want around anyway.
Yeah.
Jerks, people that cause you trouble. But they turn it around and they manipulate it.
Yeah.
And they told him that I am, this kind of bad person.
Yeah, definitely not.
And he got me to disconnect. So this book is their book. They wrote it.
What's it called?
It's called Introduction to Scientology Ethics.
Oh, I don't think I want to read that book, but,
Yeah.
but it sounds terrible, wow.
There's lots of books. I mean, they've got, the founder somehow managed to write almost 4 million words of books in print. So there's hundreds of books that he wrote. He was a very prolific writer, that's for sure.
Okay,
Thank you for your time. The real problem is that people don't know about it. It doesn't really affect them unless they are in there or they've got a relative who's involved.
Yeah.
And so it's sort of like an out of sight, out of mind, especially up in Orangeburg. Nobody knew that they were there except for the Niagara Escarpment. So, Stanley don't know. It's not the problem they know. My name is Adam Holland. If you Google that, you can find some of the stories, some of what happened, some news articles and stuff that have been written about. That's the first hand note. I think it was January of 2008. I was on a project because in 2007 they had the basics package come out, so we had to sell to every Scientologist, and of course that's June of 2007, so by January, about 6 months later, they kind of ran out of a lot of the people that were going to buy right away. So we had to go downstairs in the basement where they have file rooms, just like medical files. Have you ever been to a medical office? With the numbers and everything. And they went through, but the problem is those files, there's lots of them. I would say there's almost 100,000. But they make a file just because somebody came by and asked a question about a dynamics book. And now they go into the file and that adds to the numbers. And those numbers are reported back to Los Angeles. So if you've ever asked a question at a desk or bought a dynamics book, for sure, you're part of that number that means that says they have 8 million. They may have spoke to 8 million people or 7 million people.
But there's no 8 million Scientologists.
Yeah, but they walked away. They bought the book, they put it on their shelf, or they asked a question and somehow they got their name. All they need is first and last name, and they'll have a folder, even if the folder is empty. That folder's there, they'll go in the computer, and so we went on a project to clear this out, and I was amazed at how many folders were for people that had never shown up in 30 years, and we still had their file.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I could
They got really extreme on me, and finally I decided to leave. And I came out, I was living with my dad, but the problem was I was telling people what happened because I was so upset at what they'd done to me. I started posting on the internet, and when they found out they did that, they declared me a suppressive person. They actually write up a piece of paper saying that he's committed crimes of a religious nature, and they apply a policy called disconnection, and my father disconnected me. He kicked me out of the house, and I've been living on my own ever since.
Good God.
And my dad's a good guy. I have nothing wrong against him, but it's what they did to him. It's how they managed to manipulate.
Brainwashing.
He's been in it for 25 years, so he's been very, very deeply ingrained into his philosophy and beliefs. I actually have the book if you want to see it.
This one finally arrived.
Well, that's going to happen to my dad disconnected from me last year, and he kicked me out of his house because they ordered him. Do you know about this?
Yeah, I mean, I had my friends go through it, and I kind of went through the same thing because I was raised in the Mormon church, so I like separated myself from that group, and now I'm pretty much disconnected as well, so...
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I mean, obviously Scientology isn't the only ones who can make things difficult for lives, but the difference is that I don't believe that it's Mormon policy to do something like disconnection, to harass people, to investigate them and sue them until they shut up. I mean, this is, I think it's probably insulting to compare the two to me.
It really is, right? But, like, I mean, there are certain, like, things
that's the difference. It's their policy. I'll actually show you. I have a book, called Introduction to Scientology Ethics.
Ethics means something different.
It's supposed to be how members are supposed to behave properly, and the most person for Scientology common name is actually, I think she said we're doing good work.
Makes you wonder how big a pile that she has in the order. No, but I mean, how many more trips? Whether it
I'm on mine. Do you have to dump everything up? Yes, you do have to dump everything up in the trash. Feeling bad you don't have your own garbage cans. It's unbelievable. It's sad.
They've created front groups that create the appearance, but really, if the person isn't documented, they spend maybe 1% of their time doing that, and the rest of the time is sell more books, sell more services,
but the people, like, you know, they got that preacher, that young guy, Joel Osteen, this fucking guy. He's like a machine. Joel Osteen, he's got that TV show, he sells books by the millions. This guy's making up pilots, got that hot blonde wife. And this is...
TV evangelist?
Yeah, this Joel Osteen guy, and he's been on Larry King a million times. And these guys are making...
Huh? Any belief that
Oh, this guy. this guy.
Yeah.
This guy's making. He's an offshoot of Schuller. Schuller, Robert Schuller from the beginning. Our power.
You know what though? He's not destroying families.
Well, I'm sure he's not.
Not harassing. Right?
I'm sure he is.
And he doesn't. He's not existing policy. And you know what I mean?
Buddy, my friend, I had a very, very, very good friend that was lesbian.
Okay.
That woman, I didn't know for 3 years with that woman.
Yeah.
Finally, the real truth came out. Her parents in Nova Scotia are those fucking Jehovah's Witness lunatics. This is another whole.
People have a right to
But
believe.
this is another whole truth. This is another cult. And she left the church. Their parents disowned her. Wouldn't talk to her.
There's a big
Oh,
difference.
nice.
I
And she ended up killing herself.
They've actually gone after critics in the same way Scientology.
Do they have an intelligence department?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, sort of. Nothing like Scientology, but they go after critics.
But this Jehovah's Witness guy, you disown your own blood, flesh and blood. And to this day, my parents helped me till I was 40. Like and they're still helping me from the grave thanks to the will. Like, this is great. And no, I know. And honestly, you disown your own kids. Because of these.
Because I was writing on the internet what they did to me. They declared.
Oh, your father's with them too.
My father is
Oh, okay, here we go. So it's really no different from the Jehovah for these guys, because when you leave the church, they basically disown you because you're not part of the group.
Well, if that's the
This
case,
is what I don't like.
Scientology's a bit more hardcore because they've got like an intelligence service. They spy on each other. Like they write up little reports on each other and all sorts of things like that.
they also have.
This guy's documenting it.
They also have
Well, that's good.
disconnection as a
Lovely. Here's Frank. The honor.
They,
Wicked.
murderer, Hitler, Pretty Boy Floyd, Dillinger, any of the famous criminals. And they're basically saying that that's how bad I am because I'm writing my story on the internet and telling people that I was treated unfairly by the management of this. It's basically a corporation. And once I was declared, my dad kicked me out of the house because I was living with him, and he's never spoken to me since. And I've been left to fend for myself. And that's how they destroy families, by telling them that this person is bad and talk to them. It is. It's going to make the world a better place. I'll believe that too. Right. Either way, what they're doing is wrong. I started.
Start leeching money out of people.
You know what? It's not even that. When you get up into management, not here. It's just it's what they call a service organization where they provide their counseling to people, the one-on-one counseling. When you get up to management, which is currently at Mono, is also the international management of Los Angeles, it's understood that you don't actually have permission to leave. You don't have the right to leave unless you get written authorization. And I wanted to see my family in January of 2008, or 2009, sorry. And they wouldn't let me, so I said, I'm going. And I said, I'm going to go. They interrogated me the night before I left. They were accusing me of being a bad person.
Checking their identity for being intimidated and harassed by members of that building.
They called my dad and said that if I show up at the house, he has to put me in the car and drive me back because he was a believer. So they used their control to really, and the whole reason they wouldn't let me leave was so they wasn't making enough money for me.
Wow.
At the end of the day, I started writing on the internet what happened to me, what they did, just a fact. And they declared me suppressive person. Scientology, comparable to Hitler or mass murder, the worst one. Saying that's me. Well, if I was to do that personally, why was I working there for 2 years? But they told my dad that because he's been in for so long, they have control over him, and they ordered him to kick me out of the house. And he did, because they told him to. I miss him. He probably missed me. But he had to do it. He had no choice. And I've been living on my own for about a year now. Yeah, I just hope that I can prevent it from happening to other people. People are kind of like, in general, it doesn't affect them. So it's like out of sight, out of mind. But when it happens to a family member, a sister, a brother, a friend of yours, then it becomes an issue. And that's when you really need to know how to stop it. Do you get it or where to get it? I actually have a book. I'll show it to you. this is Scientology, go to the department. So, yes, a member of Scientology. But it gets a little bit different because one of the concepts is, like I said, evil people. Now, there's lots of stories on the internet of people who are disconnected from family members who are disconnected and they've been torn apart. But